Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Hybrid Now. So did you hear the 2023 Toyota Prius has won Car of the Year? But is it warranted? And what's so great about this new Toyota Prius? Well, let's talk about that. First of all, I think it's awesome because I love the car. Now, a few things that are really great about it. Of course, you've got the fuel economy. You know, I'm getting somewhere 48 to 52 miles per gallon. Kind of depends on the type of driving that I'm doing, whether it's longer distance, more stop and start. Although I think you get better fuel economy with stop and start because you're going to be running mostly on battery power, right? Because you're probably not going to be traveling at higher speeds where the engine needs to kick in. But fuel economy in this car is awesome. As far as the design goes, I think Toyota could have won the award just on the merits of what this car looks like. I mean, it's a sexy car, let's face it. It's awesome. I think they hit a home run when they came up with the new body style for the Prius. And let me preface my comments or give you a little bit of an idea. You know, I have a couple of other channels, Rob Motive and Tundra Mission, soon to be Rob Motive JL. It actually is probably Rob Motive JL by the time you see this. But I have dogged the Prius for quite a while. I thought it was ugly and gutless, and I think both of those are true. Although I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? But I didn't care much for the looks of the car, and then listening to its performance numbers, and I know it's supposed to be great on fuel economy, performance shouldn't even come into the picture. But why not? We have it in this new redesigned Prius. It gets great fuel economy while being fun to drive, and that's the next point I'll mention. Is it fun to drive? Well, for sure it is. It corners well, it handles well, and it's got great acceleration. Now, don't think for a minute that this is some sort of a drag car or something. I mean, obviously it's not. But 0 to 60 in 7 seconds or a tick under is pretty darn good for a car that's getting 50-some miles per gallon. I think it's awesome. And the Prime is even a little bit better. By the way, a little caveat for you. Had I known more, I would have bought the Prime if I could find one. I actually thought that was a strictly plug-in vehicle, not a hybrid vehicle, which is why I bought this version. I think hybrids are the way to go right now. There was a report out recently, by the way, mentioning that people are not taking to electric vehicles like maybe the manufacturers had hoped. That they're sitting on the lots, people are just not buying them. And the reason, I think, is because we're just not set up for them yet. You know, we don't have the infrastructure for it. They take too long to charge. You know, if I'm on a long distance trip, which I'm going to be taking in the Prius next year, I don't want to be spending a half an hour every 300, 400, 500 miles, whatever it is, charging up my vehicle. Just not something I want to do. So hybrid is the way to go. The Prius Prime is a hybrid. I should have gotten that one. And there will be a Prius Prime in my future for sure. I just think it's an awesome platform. Gets even better range. I don't even know why we call it fuel economy. Gets better range. Sounds like it's awesome to me. And judging it by what I'm in right now, I'm sure it is. Now, back to comfort. Let's talk about that for a minute. Not only did they create a car that's sexy, fun to drive, and gets great fuel economy, but it's actually comfortable in here. And you might think that, well, it's a pretty small car. It should feel confining. It should make you claustrophobic. It doesn't. And it doesn't because of a couple of things that Toyota did. Number one, I've got this glass roof. I can open this thing up and it just feels like there's more space in here. And everything when it comes to feel or claustrophobia is a matter of perception, right? Perceiving where you're at. They killed it with this. The long sloping windshield comes up higher on the car, or at least it feels that way, and makes you feel like you've got more space in here. One of the biggest things they did, and it's such a small thing in perspective, is the side window right in front of the window that goes up and down. They could have made that a solid piece. But man, would that have shrunk the feel of the inside of the car. You know, when I look out now, if I look over to the passenger side, right below the A-pillar is that glass panel I'm talking about. And I can see out. I can see it on the driver's side. It just makes it feel a heck of a lot more roomy inside this car than what it really is. There's really only two areas, I think, that you get let down with the Toyota Prius. One, you can change yourself. That is no spare tire. I mean, come on. You've got to have a spare tire for nothing other than peace of mind, I think. If you're on a long trip somewhere and you have a problem and that can of Fix-A-Flat won't fix it, you're going to be stranded. You have no way to change that tire yourself and get back on the road. That's kind of a bummer. The other, you can't fix yourself unless you put maybe a trunk on top of the car, is storage space. There's not a ton of room inside here, more so hidden room. If you're by yourself, as I'm going to be on this trip, there's ample storage, I guess, to be able to haul things, but you can't really hide anything in here. So I wouldn't be comfortable, as I mentioned in a previous video, leaving things inside the car unattended, parked overnight somewhere, or even in a mall parking lot where somebody could smash and grab, you know. That's part of the car. It's just the way it is. I think if that bothers you, then you're probably looking at the wrong segment anyway. You probably should be looking at a bigger SUV, maybe a minivan, or possibly a pickup truck with a tonneau cover on the back. It's really the only way you're going to get a ton of hidden storage in any other vehicle. So anyway, yeah, I think the Toyota Prius is well deserving of the car of the year. I think it's awesome. Kudos to Toyota for taking a leap, and I think they did take a leap with this car. You know, the previous generation of the Prius has been out for quite a while, and it has its fan base. You hear that often in comments, particularly on my channel or other forums, where people think that maybe the new Prius was a little bit of a backward step for Toyota and that it doesn't have as much room inside. It's a little bit lower swept, if you will, than the previous generation was. I don't agree with any of that. I think Toyota has captured a whole new audience, people like me who never would have touched a Toyota Prius before, and I think they did a fantastic job. Leave a comment, let me know, and I'd be really curious if you're a previous Prius owner, whether or not you like the new model. Do you think it's a step back from what you had before? I'd just be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.